playoff series.
Weldon kind of hinted at multiple answers to Qiyana. He said Diana was one they wanted to try.
Yeah.
I was hoping for an Echo Locket to try that one too, but it's just going to be the Orianna for PowerOfEvil. Definitely a comfort champion for him. He has played it for many, many years and come up with many alternate builds for it as well.
Game number 67 of Orianna in his professional career. Most played by far. This, if you're going for comfort, is exactly this champion. PowerOfEvil back against the wall, needs to win 2 more straight to take 3rd place, and he goes for his most played.
And I think it's the right call for CLG, even if it ends up not working. We saw games 1 and 2 of them trying the wacky stuff like Diana, but then we saw game 3 when they went back to Corki gank, playing stuff they were familiar with. And much like game 4 in the C9 series, PoE goes back to Orianna. He had a very good early and mid game with it in that series. So PowerOfEvil is looking to perform on a champion he's comfortable with.
All right, time ticks down. Is this the last time that these teams meet? Does Clutch Gaming close it out here? Does CounterLogic Gaming with comfort picks? Biofrost back in the playmaker and Thresh. PowerOfEvil on his trademark Orianna. Ruin, who did well in the Aatrox cover matchup last time around. See if they can make this one happen here. Reverse sweep still on the table. 3rd place match on the line here in front of this crowd in Detroit. For many of these teams, they've been somewhere this big before. For some of them, though, first time in front of 10,000 people. For Vulcan and Co, it's actually pretty solid for them. It feels like Clutch Gaming really rose to the occasion. CLG a bit slower start, but game 3 was convincing.
Absolutely, CLG needs to keep that momentum from game 3 and try and push us towards a game 5. As Weldon said, the only way to practice for a stage like this is playing on a stage like this. So CLG wants to remain here as long as possible.
Here we go onto the Rift for game number 4. Clutch Gaming once again have the Qiyana. Damonte known for it so much, and it's always exciting to watch.
Yeah, everybody came into this matchup expecting Qiyana to be contested. Well, they definitely have delivered. Majority of games have contained the champion. One more gonna pop off here. Let's see. I feel like this one was also CounterLogic Gaming throwing down the gauntlet once again, making Clutch have to perform. Sweeper there does get some more experience once again early for the solo laners.
Making Clutch have to perform is CLG, and we got a word on the sideline. Ovly standing by with Weldon.
Thanks, guys. Weldon, I just have one question for you coming into this game. We have seen Clutch Gaming have incredible success with Damonte on Qiyana, and you guys let it through. And I mean, in game 2, you weren't able to find that counter, so what is the play here?
Well, in game 2, we tried the assassin versus assassin, and whichever assassin loses, it looks like, well, what game 2 looked like. And last game, they were forced to let through the Corki, so we kind of knew that that's where we wanted to head. But I think we have a win condition against it this game. We're going to try again.
And tell me about what the team's thoughts or general feelings are coming into this game, where they need to win or they're out.
So after the second game, it's basically just a bunch of best of ones. So everybody's just in a best of one mentality, and we just have to win the game.
Well, thank you and best of luck. Back to you guys.
Best of luck, best of 1. 2 more to do, and CLG complete the reverse sweep. Seen him before, can see him again. CLG hoping they can push forward.
Speaking of win conditions, it's Aatrox versus Qiyana, not the Orianna versus Qiyana. It is the lane swap for CLG, something they have done sparingly throughout the regular season. They did a lot of swapping back and forth in last game, but they start this one up, making Damonte play against Aatrox.
I think this is much better on both sides for CLG than the opposing matchups would be, both for the Orianna as well as for the Aatrox. Huni here, still gonna push in though on the Karma, does get up, start to try and farm that Klepto stack, hits PowerOfEvil, pushing the wave, trying to dice up to the tower.
And one small part about Orianna, she has the lowest base armor in the game. So you go against physical damage assassin, that's gonna be really dicey. So I agree to your point that on both sides it feels a lot better for CLG here.
Will we see Clutch try and chase around again too? Because I think that this would also be a game that would be worth them chasing the opposite matchup.
Woo! Jukes to the side, finds the root, good damage here. Yeah, forces an early flash off a Lira gank.
Yeah, that's going to make that return so much more threatening, and if that wave bounces back to the same spot again, it's going to be very difficult for Rune to CS. So even though Aatrox is more burst resilient, you still have to respect the potential of 2 people coming to your lane to kill you.
A big part of it is Aatrox has to get closer to the minion wave to farm in mid lane. So even in this short lane, where you think it would be more safe, versus Qiyana, in mid lane, Qiyana constantly farms water elements out of the river, and you can EQ for the guaranteed route. With a Sylas, you can even lane gank because of the length of the chain stun that can come through, and them burning that flash is not a one-off, pass at mid lane. It should be a continued focus for Clutch Gaming around the mid area.
The strength of Clutch before. We'll see if Damonte can get ahead yet again. As the bottom scuttle going to go pretty clean through the Wiggily right here. Remains 1 camp ahead. Some of that is the price Lira pays for ganking. They trade scuttles and Lira goes back towards his blue. Damonte walks away. The mid lane matchup within 1 CS, top lane within 3. Certainly a close early game.
We're going to hammer home on that point. As far as the team comps are set up, we saw what Qiyana looks like without early threat or snowball or, jungle pressure around her lane phase. It completely neuters the mid game for her. Doesn't make the side lanes have to worry about her roaming around, getting those big ultimate plays, or even give you as much control around the objectives that you're used to. So, again, Lira, good early pass, and I think that they will continue to focus, knowing that Ruin now, no flash. At the very least, they're going to try and get that CS back under control, because so far, Ruin up on CS has been able to use that Aatrox trade very effectively with his passive auto, to force Damonte off the minion wave.
The bot lane resets, a 2 CS difference right here, so Sivir scaling just fine. Of course, Xayah's late game is great as well, so it's hard to give anyone an obvious edge. Both supports a bit squishy and big playmakers. Wiggily heading to the top side.
Yeah, I think we're talking about scaling. I would give the CLG composition a slight edge, but it will come down to execution in the team fights. If Clutch Gaming finds the right flank engage at any point in the game, they would be able to win a fight.
One difficulty for Clutch is no hard tanks. That is going to be something to watch out for. There's no, Skarner or Sejuani with a stone plate soaking up 5,000 damage.
Yeah, and their answer to that is going to be hard CC. Don't need a hard tank if you have enough hard CC and enough damage behind that window, but it definitely does have a higher barrier of execution and require you to make less mistakes. That you don't have a sponge to soak up some of the repercussions of your mistakes.
Once again, sitting in the lanes. Clutch Gaming not eager to pull the rotation to the swamp. Happy to play this one straight up, and it's going to be continued fairly close to equal farm going back and forth. Small lead for Huni in the top lane, it looks like. TP for both those players. Extra TP for CLG as Ruin has one, Damonte sitting on Ignite.
Yeah, and we're reaching the timing where Clutch could look for another kill, and that's why you see Wiggily shadowing Ruin already, because the instant Damonte hits level 6,
they got vision on.
Would be a time where he'd want to get a kill, and they do have vision. The 2v2 could be close, though, or they could just burst out Wiggily.
5 for 6 and 5. Damonte has the ultimate, but a little bit short on mana, only about 160. Can't do everything after the ultimate. Looks like no fight.
Yeah, patience pays off there. Lira eventually turns over for the Scuttle Crab. They'll get the reward. Finally, that Vision Ward is seen. The control ward taken down there by Ruin. They know that Wiggly's earlier move was seen.
Oh, gets the ult off for the big stun, even against Wiggily, not even knowing it was there. But he might burn down Ruin. The Ignite helps it happen, and first blood comes through to Lira.
Damonte knows his damage. He just sees the opportunity, knows the CC lock will be so long that while Lira's halfway through the river, he starts the kill.
Yeah, the Qiyana's look very different. In the hands of Damonte here, huge burst damage. And again, that control ward paid so much for them. Avoided the CLG gank and allowed them to then turn it around on their own terms. Damonte jumping in, Ignite Qiyana, able to get the mid laner low enough to feed a nice kill over to Lira there. Burns his flash to finish it up. Look at Damonte waiting for this one. Up against the wall, you get to pull off the entire combo, taking him down to, 15% HP before there's any reaction time. And that means the guaranteed kill since Lira's got flash on Sylas.
Yeah, actually pulls the rock with Qiyana for some execute damage down the stretch, knowing that Lira would be able to pose for even more CC rather than pulling back-to-back water blades for a longer root duration. Really well done by Damonte.
In the back foot, 900 gold down. Lanes mostly equal. We're seeing leads getting eked out in each of these side lanes as Clutch Gaming waiting to move forward, hoping they have the right support for the Sivir, hoping that those aggressive team fights can work out for them.
You're also going to have to track where the money goes in this game because there's so many options for carries. That first blood kill, actually bottom lane. All right, that first blood kill going over to Sylas is huge. Now, AP junglers spike incredibly hard off of the completion of Runic Echoes. It is an insanely efficient burst item that after you get past the mana crystal part of the build, it has a very, very potent combination. So Lira now level 6 with the Sylas, got just enough to finish off the Runic Echoes. He is a carry himself.
Yeah.
Jungle Sylas is incredibly effective at pulling off solo kills as well. You take the Conqueror, he's got red buff now as well, is up to level 7. He's basically another solo laner for Clutch Gaming that gets to roam around and remain unseen.
That makes this Cloud Drake start pretty risky for CLG. The Qiyana ultimate is actually back up already, and there's no teleport topside, so Wiggily kind of just buying time in the river cannot do that Cloud Drake.
Looks like the roam going bottom will be seen by the control ward. Lira's sitting on that one though, and he knows from the movements of the mid laner, you can tell since they back off there, Ruin.
Might go for
Counter vision!
Over the wall, they find the stun, there's a flash down, but they can go for round number 2. They're gonna almost find that second stun, but Lira can pull his own ult back out. They're gonna get this kill on a Wiggily, and he's still got the Sejuani ult in case he wants to find a second engage somewhere, so Clutch Gaming, that ward got him a kill.
Yeah, who's got wards on who here? Control ward up on the top side, then there was one in the tri-brush there, but also in the dragon pit, and eventually, the extra information allows another very similar play from Clutch Gaming where the ward allows them to choose their engage on the Sejuani.
And it means Lira's also completely off to the races. He was already spiking with that 1-0. He's now halfway towards Proto Belt trying to be that carry in his own right. Damonte did use ultimate there and actually didn't get the hit onto Wiggily. They didn't need it, so it does give Ruin a little bit of time to play aggressive and accumulate more of his CS advantage.
Yeah, Wiggily flashing away there too means no flash on the Sejuani, takes away a decent amount of the potency of those ganks. A little bit scared, less scared of the ultimate in those cases. Recall going to be forced here though, and since there's no teleport on Damonte, you know, Qiyana taking Ignite, that is going to be a cash in. Stixxay gets the plate to finish off, and a Dark Passage allows them to pull back efficiently.
Let's see how the teams are moving around and what else they're doing here as we are almost 11 minutes into the game, and CLG ensuring that they have a presence on the top side of the map. We've been talking about the fact that Clutch just kept going for 10-minute Heralds, and CLG have kind of found the answer to it, get their dual lane to the mid lane in time, and now they can answer those moves easily.
Yeah, Clutch had the highest Rift Herald percentage and the best first turret percentage, even throughout the LCS regular season. Is just, I think, because they didn't play the same team 3 to 5 times in a row, people weren't necessarily catching on to how telegraphed Clutch's tendencies could be. CLG now really trying to match it, but that doesn't mean you can get it. Clutch going for a fight.
Ooh, Clutch have kept all their pieces up by the Rift Herald too. Ruin was down bottom side, so Clutch are paying for this start on the Rift Herald with the minion wave that Ruin pushed into the tower. But now he's headed up the river, and CLG are on the way. I think Clutch will be able to finish this, but there might be a fight afterwards.
They're gonna smite range in time. That's a clean one. Lira should grab that without much issue and send that down whichever lane they need in the next 2 minutes. No pick up there. It's going to be a clean walk away. They're going to walk through their own control ward. Nice attempt. That blind hook was very smart, but Clutch Gaming kind of already ahead of that one and didn't take that path.
I always hold my breath when a team groups in the river as Qiyana's over the wall, because if he just flash ults into the wall, he'd get the 4-man stun. But Clutch did have Huni in the top lane, taking the Rift Herald and really trying to make sure they don't lose any map pressure.
Bot lane pushing actually back towards CLG, and Ruin actually, if he wanted to, I think he could have frozen that wave. Instead, clears it away and runs out.
Yeah, so Clutch were heading down the river, and he saw on the ward that they were coming for a 3-person gank towards Ruin. They not only want to make a play on the side of Clutch Gaming, but also release the Rift Herald right after that play. Lira now under attack.
Big damage, W's towards the monster, but can still find more than Flash. Ruin almost finds it. The CC is now there, and Lira can jump back over the wall, and the clean disengage as Vulcan burns a second E. A nice run away there for Lira.
Gets a away with his life there due to Vulcan coming in. Really good defensive peel there from Vulcan. Able to shield and get the knock up, plus second shield to jump back out of the pit. But that is going to be some more time knocked off the clock for Rift Herald. Only a minute left here to try and cash in on the plate money for it. And there's a recall for Lira. He has to walk immediately back out to a lane and try and use it if they want to actually get that gold.
Yeah, I think a lot of the last two games have been about opportunities and whether or not you can capitalize on those opportunities. Right now, Ruin did burn Flash and ult to try and kill Lira and delay the Rift Herald, but will Clutch still be able to get off a good Rift Herald? Because if they do, they can start blowing this game open.
Mid lane would be the activation here. Lira actually in the river right now with the Sivir to quick push the lane.
Yeah,
they can just pop it off.
Someone's over the wall. It's spotted, but it doesn't really matter. They're going to get this one to charge without much issue. Mid lane going to lose a lot of health here.
Yeah, they're actually going to split the money because it's a little dangerous grouping up at the tower. They would like it to all go into Cody Sun, but he does get part.
All right, 320 extra gold earned via that charge. That's pretty much the very median result for that summon, but it does mean the mid turret's down below 2,000 HP, and a little bit later on they can do the rest of that damage. The money is claimed, and you can look at the scoreboard. Clutch Gaming up 1,500 gold at 14 minutes.
Yeah, CLG still in it, looking to try and find that first big engage. Feels like this ult is burned to trade, but PoE positioning like he's going for a kill.
It's a lot of damage. Actually forces Huni's flash out, and that's when he with some magic of this. The Athenes was in there, but still forced away, losing his flash.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to item power spikes. The biggest thing in League of Legends, you know, a completed runic echoes for PowerOfEvil. He immediately looks for that kill pressure.
So again, Damonte is stunned again, and it's a 3v1. Absolutely no way out. Ruin claims the kill. Finally, CLG on the board.
Great rotation from CLG, and now Stixxay gonna chase Vulcan out of the river. They can get a great timing on the Dragon as they get the kill. 20 seconds left on the death timer for Damonte. Dragon spawning now. That should be an easy cleanup for Wiggily.
That is so big for CLG, being able to be first into the river, gaining control of that side of the map. Maybe Clutch was distracted from Huni burning his flash in the top lane sometimes. That can draw your attention away, but Damonte not staying near his turret, really trying to get river presence, but CLG was the first ones there.
Top lane being pushed down right now. Is going to be some damage in, but Biofrost, you can see shadowing PoE in case they're going more aggressive. That's not happening though. He's going to stay safe. You can see Lira going back down to his own jungle western side of the map. That's another shockwave though, and this could be another chase on Huni. That hook is gonna land. This is gonna be a kill. Biofrost follows up, and PoE claims the kill.
These roams are really taking their toll on Clutch Gaming. CLG are off to the races dive.
Big damage on the Stixxay, but he's gonna still be pretty safe as he pulls the feathers back. The turret's just barely gonna stay alive. Still had the ult in case that chase went farther.
Biofrost flying in with those mobility boots and still has flash, so his aura on the map and range of threat is very big, especially after Clutch having two people picked off now. Need to be a lot more careful where they go, as CLG, who I think has slightly better scaling in this game, is really close to even in this matchup.
I mean, CLG's look so much more focused now than they did at the beginning of the series. PowerOfEvil making aggressive moves on the top side, burns the flash and opens up an opportunity. Bottom side of the map, they make the first roam. Death sentence after death sentence from Biofrost set up and landed. Towers are starting to go down though. Top lane gonna be traded as Cody Sun finishes off mid for Clutch.
Himself did go to CLG, so 150 bonus gold for that one. Doesn't quite make up for the plates, but you can see the game difference. Only 400 gold apart, and as we're mentioning, CLG probably just better at 30 minutes as items keep going through.
I think it's really close, and it does depend a lot on the setup too.
Yeah.
Lira can steal Sejuani ultimate, which he's done right now, so he's done the preemptive work already. It's actually an insane team fight to have him plus Rakan plus Qiyana is a tremendous amount of hard CC and burst damage. So a lot comes down to positioning in these fights. A lot of summoner spells still available too, so it's going to be a very explosive fight once they decide to actually take it in the mid game. Everybody gets more confident when they start finishing their items.
Yep.
And that can lead to both sides being really willing to look for that play.
CLG sweeping wards out of their own jungle. You saw the sweeper for one. The control ward going to drop down as well, so some of the vision going away. CLG feeling a bit more comfortable. Still a very tight game. Even equal Drakes right now.
And I know it's a small thing right there, but Cody Sun missing the cannon on an uncontested wave does speak to maybe some misplay coming through.
Speaking of some misplays though, Huni keeps fighting PoE and is not even close in this one. A solo kill. Now over the wall goes Wiggily. Another stun. Damonte's trying to run away, but he can't do it. And CLG are picking up the kills.
Clutch did not do the groundwork before setting up that play. They charge in with no vision. Huni starts it off on PowerOfEvil, thinking he'll have the numbers advantage with Damonte flanking around on the top side, but Wiggily is there. That is CLG territory. They had control wards in place, and both parts of the play are hard countered by CLG.
And even just the 1v1 that PoE has now pulled off a couple of times onto Huni. Huni's definitely going aggressive because he thinks he has backup, but PoE just has such command over Orianna. Ends up, I'd call that an assisted solo kill because the backup wasn't coming in for Huni. And then Wiggily just knowing he has the numbers advantage, following over, initiating onto Damonte. Very well played.
Yeah, you can clearly see. Huni thinks he's setting up a 1v2. That's why he's opting into this down trade, basically. But as soon as Damonte gets over the wall, face first into Sejuani and unable to turn it into that play that they're looking for. So CLG rack up the kills. Top side. Looking to finish up that push. Cody Sun does get it up to the tower, and they want all that tower gold to go into Cody.
A lot of money. At this point, it just feels like it's just down to Sivir being the late game carry, but the question is, does he have a front line? CLG now up almost 1,000 gold into this one as the next Drake spawns in just under a minute. CLG feel like they have lane control. Both solos doing very well right now.
Yeah, Clutch is going to face the difficult decision here of whether or not they should stay aggressive or if they should kind of wait and try and play some counter engage and some peeling back with the Karma and the Sivir speed, because really they do need Cody Sun to hit his Infinity Edge for his power spike with lethal tempo, and he's just not there yet since the skirmishing of Qiyana. And even the 2-0 Sylas haven't been able to find much impact on the rest of the map.
Two things CLG did very well in this game. I think a super intelligent lane swap to start it out, having Ruin get out of that bad, aggressive Karma early matchup where Karma's going to try and harass him down, up until the level 6 point, as well as getting PowerOfEvil away from Damonte's Qiyana. Then Biofrost roaming around to help out with those plays on both sides of the map. As transition into this mid game where CLG rack up another dragon. Ocean will be taken. And if you look at the pushing right now, Clutch Gaming trying to send 3 members to the top side to try and make a play opposite that dragon take.
They don't have a huge amount of burst damage, and Ruin does have a lot of health, so really just avoiding CLG as Clutch Gaming can't find the play. CLG playing much smarter and much better than in the first 2 games.
Yep, nothing gained there for Clutch Gaming on the opposite
Look
half.
bottom though. There is a PowerOfEvil Orianna chasing through.
Now a 2v1 as Damonte's here now as well. There shouldn't be an easy way out. Does not have flash either. Gets away from the shockwave. Into the wall he goes. There's the shutdown picked up. Finally on the board is Clutch Gaming.
You can see that was their game plan for the earlier 2v1 at tower. That's how it was written in the Clutch Gaming playbook. They actually get to pull it off this time around and cut off the split pusher.
Yeah, PowerOfEvil did have some vision in the jungle, which is probably why he felt confident going up there, but he was just so far away from the nearest available help. Damonte ends up playing this one out. PoE really should not have been up at this point in the game in that spot, and he does give the shutdown over to Damonte. We'll have to track now if that's what can get Damonte off the ground and running.
2,500 gold. He's actually the poorest member on his team, not counting support. So a ways to go still. Good blue buff steal goes through for Ruin, this game's mid laner. Bot lane turret goes to Huni though, so actually turret score technically right now and temporarily Clutch Gaming's favor. The gold back to tied. There's a lot gained off that 1 kill in the bottom lane, all the way pushed up. UE back on the map can wave through this one and regain some map control, but tides turn somewhat.
A lot of spell penetration picked up for PowerOfEvil too. I mean, this is an incredibly burst-heavy Orianna. Basically, as burst-heavy a build as you can get. Ludens and double spell penetration. Yeah. PowerOfEvil on his comfort champion does look so much better. Yes, he was pushed way ahead. Maybe we have an engage here, actually?
Yeah.
Might be, just turning the corner is Vulcan, but still gotta be careful. The first knock is found, just back to his team, stays alive. Now Lira has Sejul. When does he go in? They're gonna find the Ruin for almost a stun. Not chasing any farther as the Lantern comes out now as well. Still have that though. The re-engage possibility is still there.
Yeah, definitely a big fumble there. Sejuani ultimate comes out. They do, I guess, trade it for Sivir ultimate. But in the aftermath, a lot of control for Clutch. If you see all of the vision being swept out here, they have taken over around Baron with those control wards. And once again, looking to set up their play. They have a lot of offensive tools to try and use burst potential with that hard CC.
Yeah, that Sejuani ultimate mismatch we have as well. If Lira can find the right target while he has that Sej ult stolen, but it's still going to be an issue of Clutch of not having that meat wall in front of them because their initiation will have to be so perfect if they want to avoid getting blown up by PoE's Orianna.
Yeah, CLG are a little bit less scared in this game than previously in the series when the map goes dark like that, because they do have not only Sejuani to face check, but a Thresh to pull him back out. It's been one of the biggest things, this dark passage keeps him safe, and they can have the tank on the front lines and try and pull him back out. Biofrost has been there for the team.
CLG once again going to take map control back. Now engaged in the mid side. Damage with Biofrost, but not killing him. Here comes a push in, and Damonte just evaporates in the water.
Yeah, Biofrost has been there for the team, and the team has been there for him. Damonte goes for the kill on the support, and gets clapped.
Just a big misplay there by Damonte, not even close to having lethal damage on Biofrost, and that means CLG can turn directly towards Baron. They have the smite, and they could even peel for a fight because it's 5v4. Ruin on the flank.
Waiting for when the opportunity strikes as he looks just on the side of this short wall. Lyra can't quite get the poke damage.
Clutch should know he's there. That ward saw Ruin get into this position.
Here's the hard engage, though. Wiggily finds a stun. Now towards Biofrost. The Baron is on CLG, and Clutch going to walk away. Vulcan should survive the burn, but now it's the disengage. Can they run away? Big shield comes in. Baron's going to reset, and Clutch make the best of a bad situation. They stop the Baron.
Oh my goodness, CLG not getting a single kill or Baron off of that pick onto Damonte is a big missed opportunity. The map pressure is now actually completely swung back towards Clutch, and they, aside from the death timer on Damonte and the gold given over, suffered no repercussions for that misplay.
Now, the timer is spaced out enough that we can have a reset before the dragon, so we'll take a look at the replay. Damonte went for the burst onto Biofrost, doesn't get him close enough to the wall, gets immediately annihilated. Biofrost plays him back in, finishes up the kill, but reset has occurred. 8 seconds still left on this dragon. PowerOfEvil recalls the base, but he's got to teleport just in case Clutch try and force anything quickly.
300 gold difference. Both teams have reset by now, and you can see almost identical itemization here. Even the AD carries have basically the same items here. 2 items done in the mid lane, both sides. 2.5 up in the top lane here as well as CLG put a couple of wards down and clean away their jungle. Clutch Gaming playing ever so slightly forward as Cody Sun's going to clear the top wave first. And now we look at the mid lane yet again. Cloud Drake is alive. Both teams already have one, plus CLG have the Ocean for extra regen. They'll kill mid lane first.
Not an extremely important Drake. It's more about what happens in the fight around it, and maybe even getting some control over Baron. As you can see, CLG actually completely moving towards the side of Baron.
Again, Clutch Gaming want the fight in the river to get full value out of the Qiyana. They're chasing him back here, trying to cut off the...
Oh, that's a stun. They found Lira, but he's going to be able to walk away. Has tenacity. Now the re-engage. They're going to find a knock up there as it's a couple of spells now. Burn that hook!
Biofrost!
That hook! Wow.
Moments like that are why you pick Thresh in these games.
And now looking for round 2. Lira going to be stunned up yet again. Flashing over the wall, barely staying alive. Trying to run away, but watch out for Ruin. Another knock-up, another kill. A shutdown comes through for CLG.
That's got to be Baron. CLG take 2 kills. The enemy jungler is gone. Clutch Gaming dismantled here in the mid game.
Ultimate tracker, PoE still has his, so if Clutch try and contest this 5v3, PoE will fight back with that. Takes Damonte to half health with a QW.
So there's almost no chance to stop this one. Clutch are going to walk forward, but this is so unlikely. Wiggily has flash if he needs it. Good poke could happen. Cody Sun does not get hit by the hook. Now Damonte looks for the solo kill. He's going to find PowerOfEvil. 1,000 health in the Baron. Oh, it gets smite. It gets taken, but is there a fight now to be had as Vulcan runs forward? A second kill is claimed. The root comes across. Baron is taken. Clutch Gaming at 2 kills off of him.
Didn't get the steal, but they sure made that one interesting as the boomerang blade flew through. PowerOfEvil tried so hard to zone out Damonte, did prevent his team from getting hit by the Qiyana ultimate, but did not protect himself in that moment. So CLG narrowly avoid a wipe, but do secure the Baron.
Yep, Clutch Gaming take a Cloud Drake in the aftermath. So Cloud Drake plus 2 kills, still good for CLG. Here's a look at the initiation. Wiggily gets it started for CLG. Initially, they get Vulcan hooked up. Biofrost lands it as he tries to escape with the shield. And then look at this. Never mind.
Ruins flash over the wall, picks up another kill.
All right. Punch will re-engage in the mid lane. Doesn't quite happen here though, but that was the opportunity. 2,000 gold difference. CLG ahead with Baron buff still on 3, I believe. Means they're likely to get so much more during this.
And we're in CLG's comfort zone now. They have Baron buff, they have Siege up as 5, they've got Wiggily for the front lines, Biofrost keeping them safe. Should be a standard Siege.
Shockwave follows up with a stun. Huni almost goes down. Ruin flashes into the backline and finds the kill. Vulcan burns down as well. Kill number 3 comes soon to Lira. He's going to try to stay alive, but there is no way out. CLG find the tower dive. A 3-for-0 in the mid lane turret.
And that's the decisiveness you've been looking for from CLG, having the front line, having the Baron buff still on 3. Even if their gold lead was fairly small, the decisiveness to go in gives them a big lead.
Big signs of hope as CLG push through mid lane. Tier 2 is theirs, and they're staying aggressive. Looking for the inhibitor turret now as well. Still 5 seconds on Vulcan, 15 on Huni and Lira. This is an easy siege right now. 5 versus 2. The turret's gonna fall. The inhibitor gonna be the next target right there. All there is to take is Clutch Gaming's base. As the respawns come in, it's gonna be a bit more defensive. Stixxay nearly caught out, does grab the lantern. And just there, the minions make the last little bit work, and the inhibitor falls.
And Clutch Gaming's gonna have to find a way to allow Cody Sun to auto-attack in these team fights, because you are really seeing what a lack of a front line can do to an AD carry here. That was a dive by CLG that didn't even get them an instant kill. Yes, the shockwave hits Huni, but that burst doesn't even hit. It's a delayed shot, and watch Cody, he's just kind of dashing back and forth, spell shield up, boomerang blade, never able to just auto-attack down. Meanwhile, the rest of CLG is free-firing on these kills.
Cody got 1 auto attack and 1 boomerang blade. When you have rapid fire cannon, that is the bare minimum in any team fight. So the bare minimum is what Cody Sun was allowed in this battle, and he's sitting on 12,000 gold. He needs more than the bare minimum. Clutch Gaming needs output from their members, especially the one they've been funneling all their gold into.
Yeah, I think CLG now is very, very happy with what they learned over this series. You know, they lose the first 2 games with their Assassins mid, but they look like a completely different team here with the well-structured front to back. Now they've got very, very clear opportunities. Mid lane super minions will head down. PoE and Stixxay finish that one up, and then they can transition down to the bottom lane where Ruin has already prepped bottom secondary turret for the rotation.
Around CLG through this jungle. They're walking through a couple of wards. They don't have complete control, but their bodies are strong enough that Clutch Gaming will have to walk away. They can only poke. That's really all they get here. Hook gonna find Lira. There's gonna be some follow through. Big damage. The shockwave to follow up. Lira barely stays alive. He's gonna be able to walk away. But the health bars are low, and CLG control the bottom lane. The minion wave's gonna be dropped off, but they can still auto this one. They can backdoor it, and CLG claim turret number 7.
That was still pretty cool. Throwing everything over the wall like that, nearly insta-killing them. I wonder if Biofrost goes over and ignites, he gets the kill, but then he probably dies himself. So mission accomplished. They get the turret, even though they don't have the Baron buff, and now they reset for the next Drake and the next Baron.
Clutch Gaming running out of options here. Hoping they can get to their last few items in time. 1,000 gold on Cody Sun. Damonte moving towards his own armor penetration right now. Only 500 inventory though. There's not a lot of upgrades left in the mix. It's pretty much it here for Clutch Gaming as far as items to come through. And it's been CLG time and again. 6,000 gold lead. Drake in 30 seconds, Baron in a minute.
Now, they didn't have teleport there. Ruin is on the bottom half of the map. CLG are split without teleport on their split pusher. He's roaming up now through some of Clutch Gaming vision, though. See if they actually pull off this flank.
Yeah, Ruin has been consistently flanking, and that's one of the things that's prevented Cody Sun from getting the right auto attacks off. I think if Clutch is going to win a fight, it's if they see Ruin actually flanking and just completely charge the other 4 of CLG and get some type of initiation off so that they have at least, I don't know, 5 seconds for Cody to get some Sivir auto attacks off of. I think that's their best chance.
The attempt with the Bucks forward. The flash
Right
finds
here.
the knockup.
This will be
Looking for the second stun. Not going to get it just yet for the charm. The knockup. Big damage on Wiggily, but he's so incredibly tanky. Damonte knocked up. Hook. He goes down. And a big flame for Biofrost means CLG continues. Look at the second kill. Huni almost dead. Just barely gets the shield and runs away, but it's still a kill picked up as Stixxay flashes for the second. Takes down Lira as well. And again, it's a 5v3 in the map. Mid inhibitor already cracked down, and CLG can push right into the base.
Yeah, that should be it. CLG, 5 members strong, will push on the Nexus.
And that's gonna be it. You have to believe the knockup is there, but the health bar's just too big. After getting dunked down in the first 2 games, 2 big wins for CLG. We're going to game 5. Well played on the wins.
And I gotta say, Phreak, I definitely doubted CLG after game 2, and they've come back to win the next 2 and force a game 5.
Steam rolling ahead there. Front line of Sejuani and Aatrox. Tower dive after tower dive, they finish it cleanly.
The analyst has said, we talked to them about who should step up, who brings CLG to game 5. Eyes were on Wiggily to step up and play to the level that he did during the regular season. The number 3 jungler across North America in his first year of play. Spring was his rookie split. Summer, he really molded himself into a top performer. Those Sejuani engages are what put CLG over the top.
I think he's played very well, but I also want to pay attention to Huni walking off stage there. He had such big performances in games 1 and 2, laned up against both Ruin and PoE, just kind of swapping around on him in the last 2 games, and hasn't found close to the same level of success. So I think Clutch needs to get Huni going in game 5 if they want to win the series.
Yeah, I think his best game was the Gangplank. Even the game they won on the Karma, back in game 2, he split the lane and the bot lane won for him. I think it's been 1 stellar game from Huni, another 3 somewhat invisible. Ruin stepping up now as well, of course. Now, Detroit, we've got a game 5 for you, so let's hear from the analyst desk to get their thoughts on how that game shaped up.
Thank you very much, Phreak. Clutch grabbed 2 and CLG snatched 2 back, and we are going to game 5. I will point out that one very intelligent Joel predicted the 5-game series, and he called it for CLG.
I did. I said Clutch 3-2. He's not the only one.
All right, okay.
I still got. I mean, I'm probably wrong now. Though.
Yeah, now you think you're wrong. So actually, okay, let's talk about that. Immediate response to the way that the series has now been trending with CLG taking 2 back.
I mean, you could even see it. Like, one of the things I was actually watching during that game was the face cams for Clutch, right? And they were looking very stressed, very distraught. Every time Damonte in particular, had gotten caught out or made any sort of mistake, you could really see it on his face. And I, for one, always get a little bit nervous for a team when you see them leaving the stage and they're somewhat fragmented. They're not actually talking as a team about, potentially what's going to happen in that next game. You saw CLG walking off as a 5-man squad, and you saw Clutch, Damonte out front, then 3 more people, and Huni in the back. And it feels like, maybe it's getting in their heads a bit.
And just to talk about draft a little bit, it's like CLG has finally found the identity that we knew they should have been the entire time. It took a weird way to get here where they had to try the Diana, I guess, to get here. But now that they're here, it's like, this is what we thought they were. Strong bot lanes, scaling mid, and now Wiggily is stepping up as well, just on a performance level.
You called out the Orianna pick specifically.
Yeah, I think it's so important for CLG. Like, I think if PowerOfEvil is on a comfort champion, the team looks completely different because Wiggily is also opened up then. He doesn't have to camp around mid lane. He can actually go for his engagements and actually play on his own tempo. In game 1 and 2, he didn't have his own tempo. In game 3 and 4, he's kind of getting into it. And I think game 5 will probably look similar.
And we did hear from Wiggily having that side stage interview with Weldon around the mid lane matchup. And he said, yes, we decided to go with the assassin route. Didn't work out, so we're going to pull back on that and find another answer. But on top of securing that scaling mage, they also went for the lane swap, going ahead and put Aatrox in the mid lane against that melee matchup. And then, of course, putting PowerOfEvil up against Huni in the range matchup.
Yeah, this is the first loss that Clutch has taken on one of their 3 comfort champions between Qiyana, Rumble, and GP. This is the first time they lost, and they lost to it while CLG was playing their own style. So that actually bodes very well going forward, that you can kind of give up something potentially for Clutch as long as you're executing on your own game plan.
Let's take a look at the way that the early game played out, because again, it looked like Clutch was off to the races. 2 quick kills picked up between the duo of Lira and Damonte here off of his own engage. Lira will be the beneficiary of it. But this started to make it look like it might just go the way of Clutch.
Sometimes when you lane swap, you put certain matchups into positions that they're not comfortable with, especially when you're mid to top swapping. They were not quite comfortable with that. And then also in the river, Wiggily just getting caught out, sitting on a ward. Those are uncharacteristic mistakes for CLG. If we look at the regular season, they're characteristic for the playoffs.
But this is where it all turned around, and amazing in this moment. You were literally sitting here yelling at the screen, just ultimate, looking for Wiggily to have the confidence to pull the trigger more often and sooner.
Yeah, I'm almost feeling for the guy, because I could see it in game 1 and 2 where he's uncomfortable, he didn't know what to do at certain moments, but in game 4 especially right now, he's actually stepping up and he has to do what he does in the regular season. You cannot just suddenly be a different player than your teammates are used to, and he's actually delivering now.
And just to speak to PoE on his comfort champion, on that Orianna play, being able to get the best of Huni in the 1v1 to make sure that wraparound play never worked because he already chunked out the karma. And so that's something that's like a confidence play that I'm not sure he's going to make on one of these other assassin picks that he was trying to play earlier in the series.
We had called for Wiggily to step up. That's exactly what he did in this 4th game. The entirety of CLG looking to ramp up through the series. And so here I want to jump forward to the play that closes it all or rather to push us to our 5th and final game in the mid lane. 2-0 for CLG and then the Baron. Or this is off of the Baron, rather.
I think one of the key things here is actually Ruin coming from the side. And Ruin in so many of these late and mid-game teamfights was always finding good angles to actually wrap around behind Clutch to really not give them any avenue of escape. But I think you actually really have to do this unless you were going to flash in to start off the fight. So I do think that he made such a big difference on the Aatrox in this series.
That plus I think Biofrost Thresh was disgusting this game. He had a number of huge hooks. And the one in the play that got them the Baron where he hooked Rakan out of his E back was astounding. And that's what we want out of Biofrost. When he's not on a playmaker, it's such a different look for CLG because it feels like he really is kind of the lifeblood to their mid to late game.
Shoes on the other foot though now, right? CLG's ramping up into the series and now it's Clutch who's kind of had to take a couple punches to the face. But they've been the team that has more closely followed their own style throughout the series. And so now how do you pivot here in Game 5 when you've been getting the Qiyanas, when you've been getting the picks that you want, and now the wins aren't coming?
Honestly, I would show them replays of game 1 and 2. I think if, for example, the coach has to sit them down and tell them, hey, this is what we did in game 1 and 2, this is how engages went, this is the angles we took, I think they can regain that confidence that they have almost lost in game 4.
CLG to blue side.
No surprise there. For Clutch Gaming, coming off the loss and the ones who need to change things up, I actually don't want them to change that much up. I think you know what you are. You know, you're Clutch Gaming. You want to fight early. You want to fight often. You got outplayed that game. Wiggily had some good engages in side lanes. You weren't playing as well around side lanes. Like, this is an in-game fix for me, not an out of game 1.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I think that there was too many mental errors in this game. You know, the start was very good. Mid-jungle going great. 2 early kills for them. And then you see plays like this Qiyana where we're talking about risk versus reward and you're going in on this Thresh solo where even if he gets that kill on Biofrost, you're trading your life for that of a support. So they need to stop making these mental errors, you know, and play a more clean game.
I think they should actually take away the Sejuani, either ban it or take it away, because I do think that Wiggily actually heavily relies on that pick right now. I mean, game 3 he had a weird scanner game, I'd say. In game 4 he looked pretty clean on the Sejuani. So taking that away and honestly taking the scaling away from CLG would probably benefit them.
We didn't have the pleasure of having you on the countdown. I've got their predictions going into game 5. Who takes it?
I think it's CLG.
CLG, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, what better way